Dieter Egan.
So what the hell is even going on with Dieter Egan? Was he real? Or was he just some sort of an imagination? Or maybe even just a story that was written by one very talented writer, as we have been introduced to him in episode 3. All of those thoughts are still in my head, and this is why I want to start this video a little bit different. Usually I'm saying to you something like, hello and welcome to Geek Anime channel. Today we're going to deep dive into Severance, and right now I want to change it a little bit. I want to say, hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to Geek Anime channel, I'm your detective host Igor, and today I want to invite you to be a part of this conversation about Dieter Egan and about Severance Season 2 Episode 4, which was an absolute blast in my opinion, and as you can see, a couple of days later we are still finding a lot to talk about. By the way, the episode is still 9.2 on IMDb, which in my opinion is one of the highest rated episodes so far of this show. So yeah, it says a lot. And it also says a lot that even after the live stream on Sunday, when we watch different creators, we talk together on the live stream, and obviously I'm reading your comments, there is still so much to unpack, and I want to focus on Dieter Egan and the whole weird story of going to the forest, you know, doing weird motions with your hand and then you know what?
As he spilt his lineage upon the soil.
So yeah, like once again, a lot of the moments in this TV show could be easily dismissed as coincidence if they're just coming by themselves. If there's just only one moment like this, you can always say maybe the creators didn't notice. For example, Ordbo, you know, if you rearrange the letters, you spell it as a robot. Now, when you compare it to the way Milkshake looks on this TV screen, when he kinda looks like a freaking robot, then you start to make a connection between those 2 points. Especially after, later in the episode, when you see Irving and his dream, and he's seeing the numbers 1, 4, 5, 7. Those numbers, once again, if you set them up as letters, you can spell Egan. Once again, maybe a coincidence if it's just one moment, but when you have Ordbo and when you have those numbers, it kind of feels already with a very high certainty that this is something that the creators planned for us. Well, taking those 2 moments into consideration and then looking at the name Dieter Egan and rearranging the letters, you can actually spell AI generated. Now, once again, even if this moment was just there by himself, no more moments like this, no more weird connections with numbers and, you know, rearranging letters, it would still be a very big stretch that was just a coincidence, because it's just way too much working with the whole show premise. So probably the creators want to tell us something. Now, my first thought was basically, of course, Dieter Egan is some sort of a fiction. He wasn't real. He was AI generated. But if he was AI generated, this is not a story that came from Kier. This is something that was done just a couple of days ago, or maybe just a couple of months ago, because AI was not really good in 1864. You know, it had some glitches at that point. Somebody's gonna write in the comments right now, this guy is a moron, there was no AI in 1864, and my mind is gonna be blown because you taught me history that I didn't know.
Rickon's words have had a profound effect upon our workers.
Natalie wants to discuss a version of the UUR specifically for innies.
There's a certain verbiage to which innies respond more favorably.
So if you remember, in episode 3, Natalie is coming to Riken and she's saying to him, what's up my dude, you wrote an amazing book, let's write something else, just a different version of this book, but for our innies, because they, for some reason, are very responsive to the way you put thoughts into words or some shit like this. So it kind of felt a little bit logical that maybe Riken was the one to write this story, and this story sounds very crazy, especially the death of Dieter. And if you have read the UUR, you can actually like make the connection here. But simultaneously, the way Riken writes his book, it's a lot of adjectives, like everything, like every time there is some kind of a noun, it usually have like 75 adjectives before it. He kind of wanted to show up. It kind of also feels a little bit like AI, like if you're gonna ask AI to write something for you and make it beautiful, you know, with the high prose, most likely it's also gonna overuse a lot of adjectives just to make it look more smart. Now, if Dieter was actually AI generated, as this whole coincidence kind of suggests, it was obviously not written by Riken. If he didn't use AI for that, you can stretch it a little bit farther. Riken got a task from Lumen and then he was like, I don't have any ideas, let's use ChatGPT for it. So my first impulse is, let's try to simulate this. And I stopped. Obviously, I didn't do this by myself because I want to do it with you here on this video. So let me just go switch to ChatGPT and let's give him a task to write a story that it's a bit similar to what we have seen in the episode 4. And we'll see if there is any comparison and if we actually can make a connection that maybe this story was written by AI. So the task is going to be write a story about two twin brothers that are different in their personalities. One is very focused and efficient. The other is kind of a free soul, dreams about living in the wild as puppers. Maybe I'm cheating already using the words here, but it's still not gonna give us the exact same result. And I just want to be focused on the main ideas. Like Dieter is supposed to be killed by Egan in order to overcome, first of all, his affection to his brother, that it's basically his weakness, and also to show the duality of those two basically characters. One of them is very free, one of them is very like, I want to go to the woods and sing with the birds, and the other one is basically focused on the results, but he also loves his twin brother. So in order for him to achieve his great results and become the kier EAGAN, praise kier of course, he needs to kill his brother. Very similar to the mythological and to biblical stories of Cain and Abel, of Romulus and Rem, and many, many other stories like that. By the way, we're going to ask ChatGPT to use those stories as a source. So, as well as puppers, and in this story, it's supposed to emphasize in order to become your most efficient self, you have to get rid of your emotional side. Okay, now what else we're gonna use? Something similar to Shakespearean language. The brother that symbolize the freedom and romanticism supposed to die. Okay, what else? Use biblical stories and mythology as source of inspiration, like Cain and Abel, Jacob, and what was his face? Oh my god, I forgot his name. Jacob and the other guy, their father is Isaac. The whole story with the blessing. Hopefully he will know what the hell I'm talking about. I forget the name of the other guy. And Romulus and Rem. Let's see what it's gonna give us. Okay, go for it. Okay, I'm gonna have to warm up right now because I'm gonna use my narrator voice as I did with the Lexington letter. By the way, if you didn't check the video, this is the time for you to do so. Yes, so the sundering of Elias and Alden. Okay, so we don't have Kier and Dieter already, which is good. But let's see if there are some similarities between these stories. Of course, not considering the same similarities I used already as a prompt for ChatGPT. So, in the heart of the empire, where iron towers scrapped the firmament and mental beneath the lash of ambition, were born twin sons to the great patriarch, Lord Alaric. The first, Elias, was a man of reason, tempered like steel, unwavering in resolve and keen in mind. He saw the world as a forge where men must be shaped through toil, their wheels sharpened upon the whetstone of industry. The second, Alden, was of a different mold. Wild of spirit, his mind wandered to realms unknown, his heart ever drawn to the whispering winds and the call of the unbroken winds. I gotta be honest, it's already way better than the one we got in episode 4. It's already more interesting, I'm kinda engaged. Their father, Alaric, in his wisdom and dominion, favored Elias, for in him he saw a worthy heir to his kingdom of stone and iron. Yet Alden, with the fire of a poet and the soul of a nomad, saw naught but shackles in the inheritance offered. Man is not meant to be chained to ledgers and coin, he oft lamented, but to roam the earth, unshackled by greed. As they grew, so too the schism between them. Elias built with relentless precision an empire grander than their fathers, each cog in his machine of dominion turning with perfect harmony. Alden, in defiance, cast aside the weight of his name and walked among paupers and beasts, seeking solace not in dominion but in the breath of the open sky. The fracture. It came to pass that Alaric, now waving in years, called his sons before him to bestow his final blessing. Elias stood firm, his heart already steeled against what was to come. Alden, barefoot and adorned with leaves, stood apart, smiling as if the weight of fate were but a feather upon his shoulder. To thee, my Elias, I grant all that I have wrought. To thee, my Alden, I give not but the wind, for that is all thou dost cherish. Elias bowed his head in solemn gratitude, but Alden merely laughed, as though he had received a greater gift. Yet in Elias something dark stirred, a voice, ancient and whispering a lesson as old as time itself. To wield dominion one must purge weakness. To rise above all one must sever the chains of sentiment. And in that moment Elias knew what must be done. The death of Alden. One fateful eve, as Alden lay beneath the stars, a shadow fell over him. Elias stood above him, his form rigid, a blade gleaming in the moonlight. "Brother, what is this?" Alden asked, his voice calm, as though he had long foreseen this moment. "A lesson, dear Alden," Elias spoke, his voice cold as the steel in his grip. "Man must choose purpose or passion. The world has no place for both." And with that the blade found home. Alden grasped but did not cry out. A single tear traced his cheek, yet his lips curled into a smile, as though in death he had found the freedom he so dearly sought. Elias stood unmoving, watching as the light fled his brother's eye. And as the blood seeped into the earth, something within Elias too was slain. His weakness, his mercy, the remnants of his heart that once clung into love. The hollow throne. But at least we have a coincidence with the hollow here. With Alden's passing, Elias ascended fully to his father's throne. This empire flourished under his rule, its people bent to his iron will, its streets paved with wealth of nations. None spoke the name of Alden, for none dared recall that which was meant to be forgotten. Yet in the quiet of night, when the world lay silent and even the stars seemed distant, Elias would stand upon the highest spire, and in the howling wild he swore he heard laughter. Free, unburdened, and eternal. For Alden has become the wind itself, and no blade, no empire, no iron will could ever steal his song. That was not bad. That was actually kind of good, I gotta be honest with you. I think it's kind of beautiful. I mean, it's obviously not like a Shakespeare or something. It's obviously not a masterpiece, but for an AI, it's not that bad. And the story about Kier and Dieter was pretty fucking bad. So it kind of makes me think it was not AI generated. We know already that AI can make a way better job than that. Especially with all of those notions of, the sexual kind of, the event, let's call it like this, with Dieter there, and the way his death is described, the way like a lot of very weird things are coming from his brain and through his eyes. It doesn't feel very artificial. It maybe feels like somebody was using AI in order to help him or her with some of the moments there, but it doesn't feel like it was completely AI generated. Maybe there is a different thought here. Maybe there was a different hint here. Now, there is some kind of a theory that it's been in the air already for a while, that maybe there was no kier EAGAN at all. Maybe it's just an invention. Maybe it was just some kind of a figure that was invented in order to create this mythology of worship of this guy in order to control. You know, religion can be used as a tool of control for people, obviously. So can it be that Dieter is AI generated because he was generated by AI kier? Now, let me take this a little bit further. And by the way, as usual, I don't have any theory here. Just like with my metrics theory, I'm not married to it. This is just me spitballing, this is just me talking to you. We are brainstorming together, and when you are brainstorming, there is no such thing as a dumb idea. Every idea is valid, and this is how you get to the best ones. You know, when you start with something, you say, okay, let's think about something else, and then you get to something very, very good. So this is the purpose of this video. This is not me saying to you, okay, Dieter was AI generated, and kier is an AI, and they are all in the metrics. I'm saying it's just one of the possibilities, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it. I hope I make myself clear, because I'm kind of getting tired to get those like comments from people that don't really know how brain's supposed to function with "you were wrong." I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not here to make statements. I'm here to basically brainstorm with you. So yeah, maybe kier EAGAN is an AI. Now also there is also one thing that kind of keeps bugging me from the very last episode, like when I made my review, and still like has how many days? Like we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's Wednesday. It's almost a week already, and it still bugs me. I mean, the whole season started with you know, Helena and Miss Selvig, and everybody is like, we gotta have to bring Mark back. We need Mark. No time. Everybody's in the rush. We need to fix the Cold Harbor. Come on, guys, come on. There's no time to waste. We're like hearing this, and then suddenly, for some reason, it's like, okay, everybody, let's go and take a break for 48 hours because, you know, whatever, like Cold Harbor, whatever you want to do with this, maybe we're gonna finish it, maybe we're not gonna finish it. If you take into consideration Dylan's words in season 1, when he was saying that they are finishing only 1 in 5 files, the other expire, so there is no time to go to the, you know, to the forest, in the cold forest, in the Cold Harbor forest, Cold Harbor. Is there any chance that my video about metrics made some sense? I don't want to believe that everything there is a simulation, but I kind of still think that everything we have seen in episode 4 was some sort of, you know, simulation. And I was thinking they're inside of Kier's head somehow. But if Kier is actually an AI, and you know, like he never really existed, he's just a program, and everybody who has a chip inside of their brain somehow connected to this program, and they are maybe right now inside of Gemma's head, and this is why it's called Cold Harbor, and this is why it kind of looked a little bit like Cold Harbor. We didn't see, like, you know, specific harbor there, but the whole river, frozen river, you know, if it's gonna like crack, the ice is gonna crack, and there is something there that goes far away. It's not really a lake, but it becomes a river. It can be technically a harbor. But once again, I'm spitballing here. Let me know what you think about this. It kind of bugs me that I cannot really make like really stable, sustainable connection here, that I can build some kind of a, you know, like based theory. And this is why I really need a whole mind collective, as I told you, pun intended. Hopefully with you, together with your comments, with your ideas, we'll be able to, you know, to make this image, to make this puzzle just a little bit more clear. Thank you so much for watching until this moment, and I hope you had some fun. I know it's not a usual type of the videos I put out there, but you know, like it was just keeps bugging me, and there is nothing else I can talk to but you about Severance. So this is why this video actually was made. And I thank you so much for your support, and of course, as usual, I want to thank everybody who supports me on YouTube and on Patreon, and I would love to welcome and you, Beacon of Light, RHR, thank you so much for your huge, amazing support. And that's it basically. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, I'm gonna still see you on the next one. Bye!